Saw places the majority of its violence and bloodletting in the hands of deadly and innovative traps. The engineered machinations of the Jigsaw Killer, his apprentices, and his copycats range from simple to incredibly complex and vary between bodily and psychological torment. John Kramer is a fictional character and the main antagonist of the Saw. Jigsaw made his debut in the first film of the series, Saw, and appears in all subsequent sequels, with the exception of Spiral. He is portrayed by American actor Tobin Bell. For those with strong stomachs, here are the 10 grisliest, goriest, and most altogether gruesome traps in the Saw. At number 10, Subway Trap. The very first trap in Spiral finds a detective strung up by his tongue in the middle of a subway tunnel. As a speeding train races towards him, he's forced to decide whether to leap from the platform he's standing on, thus ripping his own tongue from his mouth, or dangle in midair and let the oncoming subway train pulverize him. The close-up shots of the victim's quivering tongue clamped tightly in an S&M-like device are extremely hard to watch. At number 9, Horsepower Trap, Saw 3D. One of the most complex traps in the Saw series, this one involves 4 victims in a filthy autobody garage. One victim is glued into the driver's seat of an El Camino, while another is strapped with barbed wire to a metal plate beneath the car's raised rear tire. A third victim is pierced with hooks and chained to the car's rear bumper, and a fourth is padlocked to a wall directly in front of the vehicle. If the victim in the driver's seat can rip himself free and pull a nearby lever in under 30 seconds, all 4 will survive. If he can't, the car will simultaneously kill all of them. The final result is an epic massacre, impressively shot in 3D. Number 8, Angel Trap, Saw 3. In this nightmarish trap, Detective Allison Carey, played by Dina Meyer, wakes to find herself strapped in a leather harness several feet above the ground, with a bunch of metal rods hooked into her ribcage. In order to escape from the trap, she must reach her bare hand into a vat of scalding acid and retrieve a key before it dissolves. If she doesn't make it in time, the rods in her ribcage will spring open, tearing her apart. What makes this trap particularly sinister is that it's fixed against her. In reality, there's no way to escape from it. The trap takes its twisted nickname from the fact that the victim is left hovering above the floor with an open ribcage that vaguely resembles the wings of an angel. In our 7th place, the Razor Box, Saw 2. This is one of the most deceptively simple traps in the franchise. The victim is poisoned with a deadly nerve gas that will kill her unless she injects an antidote, which is housed in a small glass box hanging from the ceiling. The problem is, once she reaches her hand inside the box, she discovers, too late, that the edges of the opening are lined with razors. Instinctively reaching her second hand into another razor-lined opening, she finds herself literally caught in the box, unable to retrieve the antidote. If she had simply taken an extra moment to examine the box before shoving both of her hands inside it, she might not have met such a gruesome fate. For 6th place, the Freezer, Saw 3. In this frosty trap, a woman is chained naked in the freezer of an abandoned meatpacking plant and is repeatedly sprayed with icy water that freezes on her exposed skin, turning her into a human popsicle. A variation on this chilly trap was included in Saw, the video game. As the trap's unfortunate victim, actress Deborah McCabe does a remarkable job of displaying the pure agony and terror that her character goes through. Her performance truly helps sell the scene. At number 5, Finger Trap, Spiral. Inspired by the harmless toy finger cuffs that children sometimes play with, this horrifying trap in Spiral finds a corrupt detective held captive in an abandoned warehouse with each of his 10 fingers locked in a device that slowly rips them from his hands. Director Darren Lynn Bousman places his camera lovingly close to the victim's skin as it gradually stretches, and then tears, making this trap one of the most difficult to watch in the franchise's history. In our 4th place, The Pig Vat, Saw 3. This revolting trap takes place in an abandoned meat processing plant, where the victim is chained to the bottom of a large cylindrical vat. Overhead, a dozen rotting pig carcasses are dropped into an industrial grinder that liquefies their putrid bodies and pours the foul-smelling juice into the vat, thus drowning the victim in gallons of rancid pig goo. Actor Barry Flatman portrays the victim, and he deserves hazard pay for going through what he does in this monumentally disgusting trap. According to a recent tweet from director Darren Lynn Bousman, co-star Angus McFadden quit the movie after this scene when he was unexpectedly sprayed with pig guts. "I had to talk him into coming back," Bousman said. At number 3, Bathroom Trap. The iconic bathroom trap in Saw is actually the one that gave the franchise its name. More of a situational trap than a device of some kind, this trap locks 2 victims in a filthy bathroom, chained by their ankles to metal pipes on opposite sides of the room. Between them is what appears to be a dead body. Both victims are provided with rusty hacksaws, and must decide whether to cut off their own feet and escape or remain locked in the room until they die of starvation. The bathroom trap is such an important part of the overriding Saw mythology that several future films in the series return to the location, and each time the familiar sight provides a welcome shiver of recognition for longtime fans. At number 2, Reverse Bear Trap, Saw 6 and Saw 3D. The original theatrical poster for Saw depicts beloved franchise favorite Shawnee Smith wearing a massive contraption on her head. A reverse-engineered bear trap, the device is designed to spring open rather than clamp shut. In effect, once triggered, it will literally snap a victim's head open at the mouth. This infamous trap proved so popular with fans that it returned several times throughout the series. In Saw 6, psychotic detective Mark Hoffman, played by Costas Mandylor, is forced to wear the contraption, which tears a bloody hole in his cheek when it partially springs open. And in Saw 3D, Jigsaw's wife Jill is killed by the device when it opens fully while attached to her head. The final gory image of her gaping mouth ranks high among the sickest sights in the series. And for our number 1, the needle pit, Saw 2. Imagine falling into a pit that's filled with thousands of dirty used syringes. With each little movement you make, another dozen needles stick into you. That's what happens to Amanda Young, played by series MVP Shawnee Smith, who finds herself thrown into a massive hole in the ground that's overflowing with potentially lethal hypodermic needles. And buried somewhere at the bottom of the pit is a single key that could mean the difference between life and death. Watching Smith desperately paw her way through the needles, which repeatedly jab and stab her hands and body, makes this by far the most excruciating trap in the entire series.
Come on, come on! Someone gotta help her. Huh? The fuck, guys?
Here are some bonus clips from the movie Jigsaw.